Hey folks, welcome back to DCS. Today you join me on Tempest's Blue Flash server on the Persian Gulf map flying the F-16C Viper. We're going to be doing some ground strike stuff at night using the TGP and the night vision eyepiece. A little bit of a different change of pace from my usual content. I tend to prefer older, less technologically advanced stuff just because it comes down more to raw piloting than sensor manipulation and avionics suites and stuff, but in my avoidance of the Strike Eagle because it's incomplete, I decided I'd have a look at the Viper, which is, at least in an air-to-ground role, fairly similar, with fairly similar capabilities. Actually, arguably more, at least with the current limitations of the Striegels, alpha build, if you can call it that. So we've got a mix of CBU-87s and Mavericks on board today. On Tempests, it uses Enigma's code, so if you're familiar with how the Cold War server works, it's got a hex system, which is very similar, so if you basically run the edges of the hexes, you'll find some targets to shoot at. So we take off. We head towards an island in the sector, enemy sector, and we find some ground targets. We're going to use the HUD to mark a point on top of them. Very similar attack profile to the short video that I uploaded a couple of days ago. With the mark point set, we can slide the TGP over there and have a look. And it looks like we've got a group of paladins, so these are artillery pieces. This is quite a fitting and believable scenario because they're on an island some way back from our airbase. Maybe they're set there to just lob shells over the water and take out some targets. So this was the first flight in the Viper in an air-to-ground role in a while. I previously have had a lot of grief with the TGP, and this was the first problem I had. So when switching to bombs, it defaults to CCIP, which gives you the bomb fall line, and the TGP will default to looking at the impact point on that fall line and stop looking at the target you have selected. So it took me a little bit of time to realise I had to select CCRP to make it look the correct way. But we figured it out. We've pickled a CBU-87 off on those paladins down there, and that should be hitting home shortly. In the video I uploaded the other day, I dropped 2 at once, and this is why, because I learned one doesn't get the job done because DCS's damage modelling is health bar based, which is a little bit cringe, and one CBU just isn't enough to kill armorless artillery pieces. We only kill 3, and it doesn't even kill them outright, they have to kind of burn down over time, so we come back around, we drop another one. And herein lies the second problem, which is that the impact from this first one obviously alerted the group that they were under attack, and they've now driven apart from each other so that the splash from a CBU is no longer large enough to cover the area that they all inhabit. And all this bomb's going to do is hit the same 3 that it already killed with the last one I dropped, so it was just a bit of a waste. Because the remaining units have spread out so much, and dropping a CBU, I'd have to basically drop 1 per target, so that'd be just stupid. I figure I'll go with the gun, but it turns out that the 20mm can't penetrate these armorless paladin tanks either, which is also a little bit cringe. You have to take AP and use like a third of your ammo to actually kill them. I digress. If you're sensing frustration, it's because, God, is it not annoying for other people as well? Like, I know people rag on WarThunder, but at least ground units in WarThunder have actual damage models. So on those gun runs, I realised that I got painted by an SPAA, a Vulcan, which did well to find me in the dark. Unfortunately for him, we have Mavericks, which I was saving for just this scenario. We rifle off a Maverick on that guy. Unfortunately, I'm not looking the right way when we kill him, so yeah, missed it. And then we fly around a little bit longer, and I figure that I've still got Mavericks on board. There's a second island over there. Maybe there's some units on that one as well. So we're going to repeat the process. I actually see a group down by the waterline, bottom edge, just there at the bottom. There we go. We're going to roll in, mark a point, and this time I think maybe I should check for Vulcans first rather than just bombing the targets without checking for threats. So there he is, look. So before dropping on any bombs down there, we're going to deal with him. And I know you can bore sight the Mavericks, and I actually do with this rack when I killed this guy, but for how infrequently I needed to use them, and the fact that I'm not really in a high threat environment, I didn't feel like it was necessary. I can take all the time in the world to handle this guy and come back around, and no one's here to shoot at me, so it's all good. On that topic though, the reason I'm doing this on a multiplayer server is because I actually wanted the threat of an air-to-air engagement just to make the video more interesting. But no one came to shoot at me because no one wants to fly at night. Like, why not? I actually really like flying at night. This monocular eyepiece thing is really cool. You can see just like, it might as well be day. Yeah, you have a slightly restricted field of view, and you have to turn it off if you want to look at anything in detail in the cockpit. But I quite like that nuance, and it adds a little bit, in my opinion. And I like that you can see the TGP and the target at the same time. And I also love how explosions look at night. You get that like huge bloom effect from the light. It looks pretty legit. So I actually kind of wish that more stuff happened at night in this game, because it's one thing it does actually do pretty well. So here's another issue that I had. I set a second steer point for that second group on the other island that we just struck the Vulcan off. With Mavericks I didn't have any issue with the TGP looking in the correct direction, but when I switched to CBUs to come in and deal with the Paladins, for some reason the TGP would only look at the first group. So you can see on that island in the distance there's a little diamond that's showing where the second group is. And down to the right is the other island where the first group is. Even with the second group selected as my steer point, for some reason the TGP would only center 0 on the first group, and I just could not get it to slew without doing it manually as I just did. I couldn't get it to look at this group, which is, I don't know why. Even after flying the Viper for like 6 to 7 hours after making this video, I could never wrap my head around it, even with the power of hindsight. And then the third issue is that those bombs didn't drop off. My best guess is that I was off the steering cue a little bit, but I kind of did that on purpose to account for wind. So maybe you should just aim the TGP point off to account for wind instead, but I thought I was being clever, but it didn't work. Let me know in the comments if I'm correct about the assumption that the steering cue is just very particular about where you put it. So eventually I managed to get all my bombs off, and I think we got like 12 targets on this sortie, so not too bad. I would have included the external footage of the landing, but all these runway lights actually don't illuminate the plane. It's just a black silhouette. It's like a Batman jet. It just flies through lights and somehow doesn't get lit up by them. I think DCS's lighting could use some upgrades. Anyway folks, thanks a lot for watching. If you want to see more Viper ground strike stuff in the future, be sure to hit that sub button, leave me a like. If you want to support the channel financially, no pressure of course, consider joining and becoming a member. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.